Now, there have been some extraordinary scenes at China's ruling Communist Party Congress, with the former Chinese leader Hu Jintao being led out of the closing ceremony in Beijing. As you can see here, Mr. Hu was sitting beside President Xi Jinping in the Great Hall of the People when he was approached by officials who took him by the arm and led him away. It's not clear what was behind the move during what's usually a highly choreographed event.
Now, there are only two possibilities, really. One is that this is sort of Chinese power politics on display with, Xi Jinping out with the old, in with him, there's something like that. And that was people's initial, feeling, the initial thought of what was going on. Really, though, I think what's much more likely is that it's something to do with his health.
Could Boris Johnson be swooping back in to save the day? With Liz Truss on the way out, the race is on to find her replacement. And many want her predecessor to make a comeback, just 6 weeks after we thought he'd left Downing Street for the final time. The 1922 committee say MPs need at least 100 nominations by 2 p.m. on Monday, meaning a maximum of 3 candidates can be in the running. Johnson could find himself up against Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt, who both ran to replace him this summer.
South Korea's defense ministry announced Friday that starting next year until 2027, it'll spend $20 billion to create its 3-axis defense system, the South Korean military's 3-pronged response to North Korea's missile attacks. First, preemptive strikes on North Korea's nuclear and missile launch sites, which Seoul's defense ministry said it'll invest nearly $6 billion. Second, intercepting the North's missiles. That'll require another $5.8 billion to develop and deploy weapons like the country's long-range surface-to-air missile to shoot down ballistic missiles at altitudes of around 50 to 60 kilometers. Third is mass retaliation against North Korea following an attack on the South, which the ministry plans to spend almost $3.4 billion.
Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced a ban on new handgun sales in the country. The regulations have come to effect from Friday.
In May, our government introduced measures to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. Today, our national freeze on handguns is coming into force. From today forward, it is no longer legal to buy, sell, or transfer a handgun in Canada.
Malawi on Thursday unearthed 4 more bodies following the grim discovery of a grave containing the remains of 25 men suspected to be Ethiopian migrants, police said. The latest finds were made at 4 separate locations, bringing the toll so far to 29. The dead are suspected to be migrants heading for South Africa, the continent's most industrialized economy. The UN has said that the tragedy highlighted the need to tackle irregular migration urgently.
In the latest development in unidentified flying objects poking the minds of scientists, NASA has reportedly launched a special team to investigate the mystery. Reports of sighting of these mostly saucer-shaped objects continue coming from several parts of the world, but scientists haven't really been able to answer most questions related to them or trace them back to their source yet. America's independent agency responsible for the civil space program, aeronautics research and space research, NASA, has now come up with a 16-member team that will find answers to these decades-old questions. NASA said that the 9-month study will begin in October.